Hi, I'm Miss Rachel, and I'm so excited to share with you Classical Conversations Math, all cycles, weeks 1 to 11. In weeks 1 to 11, the children are going to be learning the 1s to 15s, the squares and cubes. Your younger students will be skip counting, and the older students will be doing the full equation. Cece has done a great job in including chants and songs, tunes to go with the skip counting. I highly encourage you to use them. With repetition, we need to help our students to stay engaged. And I have a few tricks that I've utilized to keep my students involved as we are going through the repetition of the math facts. I'm not going to do these particularly in order, I apologize, but I wanted to share that I have this die that I got from the Dollar Tree or the dollar store, and on it I have put numbers. Those numbers, when I am instructing, when I'm being a tutor, correspond with something that I write on my board. For example, the number 1 might be, if we're doing funny voices, might be a robot voice. Number 2 could be some animal that when we do the chant or the song that we're going to do it in an animal voice. So maybe the sound of a mouse, a squeaky little mouse voice. Number 3, maybe we have an emotion put in there that we are going to do the repetition as a scared voice. So example, our 2s, we might go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and we could be scared. Maybe number 4 is fast, number 5 might be slow, number 6 might be volcano. And an example of volcano, if we did, for example, the 2s in a volcano voice, I would, with my whole physique, crouch down low and start off small and quiet, like the initial rumblings of a volcano. And so it might sound something like this. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. And as the volcano starts getting agitated, the voice gets louder, and then finally we explode at the end. That is a lot of fun for the kids to do. I also do exercising with my kiddos to math. Our students, we have a main gathering before they are dismissed into the different tutor classrooms. So my students at this point have already been sitting still for about 30 minutes. So this is a perfect way to get some of the wiggles out so that we have their focus for new grammar. So I always start with math. So I may have them do, for example, we're on the 2s, with jumping jacks. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I might have them hop on one leg, do wall sits. The other day, I had my students doing planks through the whole thing. Again, a great way to get out the silly, to get some energy, as my students particularly had been sitting still prior to that. It gets them focused and engaged with the rest of the material that they're going to be learning. There are a couple of the songs that they have used, the tunes that they've used, for example, the 8s that lend themselves to a particular way to share them. So the 8s are done to Oh Susanna. So I do use a cowboy voice with my students. So we would sing the 8s like 8, 16, 24, and 32. I have even brought in cowboy hats for every single student to wear. We have, sometimes I bring in bandanas and they twirl them like a lasso when we're doing the 8s. 8s are a lot of fun. There are 2 tunes, if I remember correctly. The 3s are to Jingle Bells and the 13s are to Jolly Old St. Nicholas. So I have little jingle bells that I bring with me, and we'll do the 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 with our jingle bells. I also have shakers. These are particularly good for some of the chants, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So another way to enhance that. With some of my students, I do erase a number. My older kids really like that when we get into the squares and the cubes. So we've gone through through the material a couple of times, doing it with the tune, and then I'll say, is there one of these numbers that you know really well? And we can go ahead and erase it off of my board. And so we'll start, and they love to do the really big numbers first. So that's a lot of fun. I also have an activity that I do with my students that is called pop-up. So we may go through, again with the 2s, and do 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. We've gone through it a few times. And then I'll randomly just do an underline under one of the numbers. And I'll say, whenever you see an underline, it means to pop up. So we'll do the whole thing crouched down. And let's say I've done the underline under the number 10. So we'll sing 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and we'll continue on. Then I may circle a number, and I'll say whenever you see a circle around that number, that's a clap. So we'll go back. We'll say the circle's on 16. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. And we can do multiple underlines and multiple circles, and it just keeps them engaged and keeps them active. Sometimes I'll do a star around something, and maybe that's a spin that we add to something. Again, all of it just keeps them busy, keeps them moving, keeps them watching, keeps them looking. Just love the engagement level that happens with that one. We also, with the older students, we look for patterns. So the 5s are a real easy one. They end in 5s or 0s. But they notice that early on, even starting with the 2s, 2, 4, 6, 8, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 0. And I love it when they make the connections that God has a design and there's intentionality, even in math. God has a purpose and a plan. I hope this is helpful. God bless.